Hello and welcome to the Nursing and the Arts podcast. I'm your host, Susan J. Farese, MSN RN, SJF Communications. Here we will listen to stories from nurses that use the creative arts in their practice or in their personal lives. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Nursing and the Arts podcast. This is episode 13. We're in season 2, and this is the second episode in season 2. And I have with me here one of my favorite people in the world that I don't see enough, and I need to come and see you in Florida pretty soon. But I have Marietta, as also known as Mary to me. Marietta Lee stands for artist, writer, painter. So she is in Sarasota, Florida. And we are here. We have met in the early 1990s. We were both pioneers with being creative as nurses. I was the nurse poet, and Mary was the painter, and she was just incredible. And we also share a birthday the same day. So we are kindred spirits. And I just want to thank you for being here, Mary. Welcome to the Nursing and the Arts podcast.
Thank you very much, Susan.
It's great to see you again. So yes, we were just chatting before we started that we were both pioneers in the creative arts, pretty much. We did 2 seminars. That was a pretty cool thing to see how creative nurses were even back then in the 90s. And here we are in 2025, post-pandemic too. We have thrived, right? So I'm very proud of us. I don't know about you, but I'm proud. We're still kicking in there. So, Mary, I would love for you to tell the folks what the mission is at your art museum. It's called the Marietta Museum of Art and Whimsy. I love that word, whimsy. Can you tell us a little about when you started this museum and how it all came about?
It started in 2006, formally started with lawyers
2006.
and IRS and all that. Started thinking about it a lot earlier when I was taking care of my mom and dad. Sometimes when you're caregiving, you feel down. And so sometimes depression and boredom can do good things for you. And in my case, I started thinking I could do better than that. So I would go to art museums to try to uplift my spirits. And most of the time I found that that was not happening. And I thought that it was the content that I was looking at and that somebody could change that. So I thought somebody could do that. And then my wills and trust lawyer says, Mary, if don't think that somebody else can do that. You have to do that yourself. So I took her advice.
Wow. So you have this since 2006, and I looked at the website and saw so many artists that have, brought pieces of art to there. How long does a exhibit stay in the museum? I mean, are they outdoors, indoors, both?
We're in Florida, so it's a combination of indoor and outdoor work. We usually have a show. I mean, we open the Saturday after Thanksgiving,
Okay.
and then we close the last weekend in May, just before just before Memorial Day, so that we can deal with the hurricanes and deal with putting up a new exhibit.
Great.
So that's how we manage it.
Yeah. I wanted to read a paragraph from your website, if you don't mind, the story of how you got into art. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
Okay. So it talks about how you loved helping people as an ER nurse. By the way, you got your associates in nursing first in 76, and then associate of science in 80, a BA in art from Eastern Kentucky University in 81, and then a master's in nursing from USF, University of South Florida in 89, and a BFA from Ringling College in 1991. You do it all. This is fantastic. So this is the part I wanted to read. She loved helping people and the excitement of the emergency room nursing, as well as being an RN, EMT, paramedic, all 3. One dark night, While volunteering for the Jessamine County Rescue Squad in Kentucky, she and her partner were called to a scene of a small airplane crash. All 5 people were dead. There was no one living to assist or transport to the hospital. It changed her life forever. And the next day, as they scratched out shadows and images of the plane crash, she soon felt her spirits lift. You were 32 at the time. This is like 1978, late 70s. Tell me what happened in your heart at that time and how it propelled you to who you are today. You've completely transformed.
Well, at that time, I was working in the University of Kentucky emergency room,
Mhm.
and burnout was always a big concern. No matter where the nurse was working, burnout was a consideration. And so we were always trying to figure out what we can do to prevent that. I loved emergency room nursing, absolutely loved it. And I thought, okay, if scratching out stuff on paper helps me feel better, then I
Mhm.
need to do more of that.
Absolutely. Your art is profound. In fact, I have a piece of your art, and I'll put a photo of it if I can, with your permission. I actually have two. I have one of the Purple House, and I have
Oh, okay.
the one out on a limb. And I will, if that's okay, I'll put some of the smaller digital photos of those on our blog post. But Mary's a kindred spirit. We share the birthdays, we share nursing, and we share being creative. And we don't see each other often, but we're always connected, always. And I, wrote to her and said, Mary, you want to be on the podcast? And she said yes. And here we are, 2025, all these years later. Tell me now, you mentioned burnout. Burnout is still an issue now in 2025, especially after the pandemic.
Hmm.
Tell me how therapeutic art still can be as we age, as we cultivate all this experience in nursing and in our lives. Because I really do believe in the value of the creative arts in some way, for
Hmm.
personal or professional.
Hmm. Well, art and the arts is a multifaceted uh, kind of entity, if you will. There's the process of making the art. There is the thinking about it. With art therapy, you're making the art, and somehow that is coming from your history and your heart, and you're
Mm-hmm.
putting that on paper, or you're sculpting or whatever, and you're creating something new out of your life experiences.
Mm-hmm.
But there's more. I used to have like 3 or 4 things. There was the making of the art. There was
What about sharing it? Sharing it with others? Does that
yeah, that wasn't one of
enter
them,
into it?
but
Mm-hmm.
that's fine.
Uh-huh.
Um, but I knew uh, that I did not want to get trapped into being a nurse art therapist. I
I
didn't want
see.
to do that because I was very afraid that I would stop making my own art. So with the art museum, I stopped making my own art. However, I your life broadens the more people
Mm.
that you meet, your life broadens. And certainly starting a museum, you find out about all these different artists, ups and downs, their families. And as we age, we certainly all have very similar life experiences of dealing with
Absolutely.
parents, or, in some cases, they're dealing with their children. And the art is the constant thing that kind of allows, it's the grease, it allows everything to keep on going.
That's awesome. I love that. That's great. I don't know if you know this, but I'm a nature photographer, and I started this by being a bird watcher. And then, I got to sunsets and landscapes and flowers and still birds all the time. We just moved to a place where there's just amazing hawks and different bird species and all. And what I do with it is use my nature photography as prompts when I teach the haiku workshops. So the participants see my visual images, and it prompts them to think, oh, which photo rang to me or whatever. Or is there something in their phone, a picture of someone they know or whatever? And then they write from that, and we publish it on my blog. So they get published, and we share a picture of each other and that kind of thing. So for me, it inspires, and their writing, I tell them in the workshops, you could either keep it to yourself, your poem, throw it away, or share it. And when you share it, you are connecting with other people, and there's collaboration and community and all that. And that is so important in this day and age, to cultivate community and collaboration. And
Mhm.
I love the word whimsy in the name of your museum, because I think of you as whimsy, because years ago I remember the Cat Chronicles newsletter. You were always doing something fun and whimsical, right? You can tell me about whimsy. Why the word whimsy for you?
Well, I did not want to get into serious art.
Mm,
Serious art for me and serious art museums are so serious that it's hard for me personally to get a lot of um, kind of uplifting pleasure from it.
I see.
So what I wanted to do was kind of keep it in the lighthearted uh, arena, and so that uh, I find that everybody has a bit of a goofy, silly streak.
Awesome. I love it.
And,
Yeah,
we all just want to be touched. We want to be touched.
that's
And
great.
so, yeah, so that's where I wanted to go.
Well, another thing is, in the serious art museums, it's quiet. You're not really supposed
Oh,
to
yeah.
chat.
Mhm,
It is very serious. You're right.
mhm.
So then at your museums, is it a little bit louder? I mean, are people talking and conversing? Um, if they're inside or just outside? Tell us about the
It's
process of
it's
what they go through visiting.
when people come through the front door, there we have these greeters, these ladies who greet the visitors, and they tell them a little bit about the museum, and they put a sticker on them, and that's how we know that they've already been talked with, and we don't have to
Okay.
deal with that.
Do the
We
whole
don't have to
spiel
go down
again.
that road again, because people go in and they go out, and
Right, right.
oh, I left something in the car, and so there's just a lot of activity,
Uh-huh.
and uh people are talking, 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 and smiling and talking. So right off
Oh,
the get-go, they're engaged.
mm,
And then as they move on through the museum, they start seeing things and they're relating to how it relates to their life.
mm. I see.
So we're a loud museum.
I love
We're
it.
we're very, very
That's
loud.
my kind of museum.
Yeah.
By the way, the mission of your museum,
Mhm.
our mission is to operate an extraordinary art and whimsical museum for the public by collecting, preserving, and exhibiting works of artistic and whimsical importance to educate our visitors about our culture and our history. We have created an environment to inspire, restore, and lift our spirits and hearts. I love that. How long did it take you to write that? Did you work with someone to write your mission statement? Just came from
No,
you?
no,
It is
no.
what it is.
That was, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, first of all, with a mission statement, you want to be able to get an elevator phrase. You want to be able to just
right.
boom, this is it. You know,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Are you on social media at all besides having the website?
Not really. I don't have time.
Okay. So
I
you
just,
are
I
a
just
little
got
bit
done.
different than
Yeah.
most of my guests, because they have, LinkedIn and Facebook page and Facebook group page. Is there a reason why you don't have,
Sure. I'm a
can't do it
human being.
all?
Yeah, I'm a
Okay.
human being, and there's only 24 hours in my day.
Exactly. Exactly.
And sometimes I like to rest,
Hmm.
and I mean, in order to think, you've got to have some time where your brain's not kind of really working too hard.
Hmm. Hmm.
And watching, stupid TV or whatever is a good way to kind of clear out the cobwebs, so
Absolutely.
to
Yeah.
speak.
I totally agree. I totally agree with you. And well, I mean, I'm in PR, so that's my business. So I help others by getting the word out. So, you know, and this is a 501c3 also.
Oh
It's a
yeah, from
nonprofit.
from the
That
from the
so you
beginning.
to be able to start a nonprofit, what kind of things did you have to do?
You had to talk to a lawyer.
Hmm. And do the paperwork.
The lawyer does the paperwork because you have no idea what you're doing.
And then a board.
So,
Do you have a board?
yeah, from the very beginning, we've got a three-person board,
Okay.
and you have to meet several times a year. It's always extremely stressful
Mhm.
having a board, even though it's like, oh, the Whimsy Museum, that board must be, really fun.
No.
Well, I mean, for me, I feel like people are judging me. And that's always apparently been very hard for me to live with, people judging me.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I'm real glad when our board meeting is over and we all go out to lunch.
That's cool. That's
That's
really
my
cool.
goal.
So, yeah. And then the ages of people that visit and the ages of some of the artists. Can you tell us little bit about that?
Sure. Well, first of all, we're in Sarasota, Florida, and the demographics are that most of the people are around near 65 and up. Okay, so we have an older group, mostly retired.
Okay.
Now, recently, we've been getting much younger people in, and we have Ringling College right across the street. So, the kids come over and take a look at what's going on.
Hmm.
Um, but we have older, and then our volunteers are older.
Mhm.
So we have, grandmas and grandpas, and they're just wonderful people. Just
That's
they have had a very, very full life.
that's what I was
And
just going to say. It seems
yeah,
so full. Yeah, and that's where it's at, folks.
yeah.
As you age, stay vital. Be a
Well,
lifelong learner still. Get out there and
yeah.
exercise. There's so much we can do in our later years. Yeah.
Well, just being a volunteer, no matter what you volunteer at,
Hmm.
is just so much fun because you make new friends. You go
Yeah.
out to lunch, you go out to dinner, you go out, you stay active. It's really, really
That's great.
good for people to be a volunteer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I commend
Yeah.
you for that. Let me see if there's any other notes here. Um, Anything else that you want to say about nursing in the arts? This podcast, this whole movement that I'm trying to start again. So,
Well, when I was younger, I had absolutely no idea how to get these two very different areas, one kind of based in science and
right.
one based in, I don't know what, not necessarily fantasy, but just one was based in reality, and the
I
other one
see.
you have the ability to be beyond the real, I guess.
And not the word art versus science, but something that other, yes. Okay, the other dimension. Okay, got it. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
because
I
you
mean,
lose yourself, right? When
nursing
you're
is very, very
creating.
science based, but in nursing, you have most of the people in nursing, I would make a generality, is that they want to help other people. And so what we do at my museum is we want to help other people feel good. Pretty
Love
simple.
it. Love it.
How many people want to feel good? Well, that would be like
Everybody, I hope.
everybody.
I
Yeah,
hope.
everybody wants to feel good. So that's a win-win.
Yeah.
Um, I have purposefully not gone scale up crazy stuff because we are limited with parking,
Hmm.
and there's practicalities, and um, older people have to go to the doctor. They got to do this, they got to do that.
Hmm.
They want to, just goof off sometimes.
Right, right. And that's good. That's good for balance. But I think that you just bring something really refreshing to the area and to nursing by even talking about this. It just seems like, wow, I would if I lived there, I'd be there all the time because it's like you get a dose of this good feeling by seeing this art, especially whimsical art. It's fun. It's serious, but it's fun. And it
Yeah,
says something. They all tell a story, probably, right? The art projects in some
there's
way.
lots and lots. There's lots. We were talking about stories today, lots and lots. Everybody's telling a
Uh,
story. And I think what attracted me to other nurses and doctors when I was in the nursing profession was their ability to do something other than that. In other words, the people that I was around were really, really smart people, and they were very, very, very good at what they did. But they also everybody had something else
Something.
that they did that kept them current. It kept them just on top of things and
Mm-hmm.
with people.
Mm-hmm. And mentally and
Yeah.
just with verve for life, I guess. Yeah. And there are a lot of people that don't have any clue about the importance of that. And they just are in, not just nurses, just people that are stuck in whatever they're doing. And they don't look out to the world, to nature. Like for me, it's nature and nature photography. I go for a walk and I'm amazed and I'm just in love with life. And I want to have vitality as I age. It's sometimes challenging, but I'm still trying. I'm still trying. But
Well,
you
I
know,
figure I figure that God gave us a lot of gifts, and we don't use all the gifts, but we have a ton of gifts. And so you get an opportunity to kind of select which ones look like a lot of fun to go down. I
yeah.
had no idea when I started this art museum. I never took any museum studies. I
Uh-huh.
thought that was deadly boring, boring,
Mhm.
boring, boring,
Not whimsical.
and
Yeah.
not whimsical at all.
At all.
It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, and what I found out is that the artists and the other people that work in the museum arena are fascinating people. They have
Mhm.
fascinating lives. They're just doing all sorts of stuff, and there's absolutely no boredom. It's just fun. And when I have the artists give talks, we get to talk about, well, how'd you get into art? What happened? Was this a happy thing that you got into art, or were you
Right.
doing something bad, or how was your life before you became involved with art, and how has that changed your life?
Hmm.
And so it's a lot of fun to hear people's stories. A lot of the artists are older.
Hmm.
There's the before COVID group. There's a lot of people that didn't survive. There's several of our volunteers that didn't survive COVID.
Oh, wow. Hmm.
There was several of the artists that did not survive COVID. And yeah, COVID just took a toll on the whole art community, especially the outdoor art shows. Huge, huge
Oh,
problem, huge problem. And then, we had basically the hurricanes last summer in Sarasota. So
true.
we had one tropical storm that was 74 miles an hour. To
Oh,
me, that's a
yeah.
hurricane. I mean, hurricane is technically 75 miles an hour. Okay, so I just put that in the hurricane thing. And so we had four hurricanes last summer, and that was really, really, really tough. Really
So
tough.
did the outside structures get damaged or anything with this wind, the high
Well, a
winds and
little,
all? A little bit? Mhm.
a little. The outside structures, we had the roof line kind of like a deck of cards, the top of
Uh-huh.
the roof, a little bit of damage,
Just a little
but
bit.
that
Mhm.
that could be fixed pretty simply. The thing that was heartbreaking for me was the trees. So we lost 33 trees,
Oh, wow.
and when the palm trees, when the wind takes the palm trees are like this, and the wind will just take them, and then this is the base of the palm tree, and the palm fronds are right here. So the
Right,
palm
right, right.
fronds they go over, but if you take this part out, boom, you kill the whole tree.
Ah,
So now you've got a tree
it's
that's
a
built
stump,
to be
like a,
around,
yeah,
and,
yeah,
you have to just take it down. So we lost
yeah.
33. So being a survivor, that became the mantra of this year's theme was survivors.
Hmm. And so you have donations that people give, or do you charge for admission? How does that work at the museum?
We ask for a $10 donation per person at the door.
Okay,
So technically we're free. And a lot of times people don't have the money, or they don't have cash, or they don't want to do PayPal. They don't have a check on them. We say, be our guest.
right, right.
Uh,
Hmm,
yeah. So,
hmm.
and then sometimes we get a lot of people from Europe, and they're not carrying American cash around.
Yeah, Yeah.
So, we just try to be very generous.
Great.
And it's worked out really, really good.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
good, because there's a lot of people that want to pay it forward.
Uh-huh.
And so that's wonderful meeting those people.
And they love you. I mean, how could they
Yeah.
not?
Well,
How can they not support you, right, Mary? Um,
who knew?
when you were a little girl, what did you want to do when you grew up? Did you know? Did you know you
No,
wanted to be a nurse or anything? No.
no,
And if you
no,
had to do
no.
it over again, what would you do with your education and whatever?
Oh, same thing.
Same thing. What did you do at Ringling? What did you study? Was it all art, painting? What was the
Painting.
painting? Okay.
Painting was my major. Yeah, I
Okay.
love painting. Yeah.
And when is the last time you painted?
I don't know.
So really, you have just kind of done a sideways to
Yeah.
helping the public enrich the public with art, not necessarily yours. Do you have any of your exhibits at the museum as
My
well? Your
paintings are
paintings?
at the museum. Yeah.
Okay,
The
great.
the the out on a limb painting of the nurse
Ah,
on the
mhm.
tree. That's the original is there.
At the crash.
Well, I tried to put that up last year. We have an outbuilding, and I put in the outbuilding. I'm going like, oh my God, this is horrible. This is so depressing. And so I pulled it.
You pulled
I
it
mean,
because it
yeah,
doesn't go with the whole
it's
theme
like,
of whimsical, of course. But I mean, but
well,
it's
it
vivid
was,
and it's part of your history
yeah, it's part of
in
my
some
history,
way.
but it's
Yeah,
better that I'm not around when that
right,
history is
right,
told.
right.
That
No,
would be better, just like a small
right.
photo
Are
in a
you?
book, forget about the original.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
you are just a wealth of information. I think you should teach at Ringling. You're right there. So
No time,
no
no
time, no
time.
time. Let's continue talking on an ongoing basis. You make me smile. I mean, it's just coming up here from the heart all the way up. So I want to thank you so much for being my guest today. And Mary's links will be on the blog post and we'll have it up on YouTube. And it's just been a pleasure seeing you again. Let's just keep in contact and do what you keep doing. And if anybody is in Florida and in the Sarasota area, please visit the Marietta Museum of Art and Whimsy. And all the information will be on our blog post as well.
Thank you so much, Susan.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you so much for listening to the Nursing and the Arts podcast. We loved having you here. And don't forget to sign up for our Facebook group, Nursing and the Arts, as well. And for information, you can email info@sjfcommunications.com.